for Mud's Grandma's Tidbits. First I'm going to read a poem, and then I'm going to tell you the story. Brighten the corner where you are. We sing that song, but this is a different version by Helen Steiner Rice. We cannot all be famous or listed in Who's Who, but every person, great or small, has important work to do. For seldom do we realize the importance of small deeds, or to what degree of greatness unnoticed kindness leads. For it's not the big celebrity in a world of fame and praise, but it's doing unpretentiously in undistinguished ways the work that God designed for us, unimportant as it seems, that makes our task outstanding and brings reality to dreams. So do not sit and idly wish for wider, newer dimensions, where you can put in practice your many good intentions. But at the spot God placed you, begin at once to do little things to brighten up the lives surrounding you. For if everybody brightened up the spot on which they're standing by being more considerate and a little less demanding, this dark, cold world would very soon eclipse the evening star if everybody brightened up the corner where they are. God bless you as you brighten the corner where you are. And this is a very interesting story. In the Arms of an Octopus and What I Learned About God by Sally Dillon. I just can't think of God as a loving father, my friend tearfully confessed. My own father was so mean and did such awful things to me that I can't equate a loving God with and father. In a poll of my other friends, I heard similar sad stories. To many of my friends feel incapable of relating to God because, as a father, because having received abuse of some kind or another at the hands of their dads. Some feel more comfortable relating to God as a mother, or in gender-neutral terms. I understand how they feel because I too base my image of God on my relationship to my father. Fortunately for me, I had a good dad. It was my 10th birthday, and to celebrate, my dad took us all to the beach. Birthday cake is always a little more exciting with sand in it. My mother and 2 little sisters stretched out on the sand and enjoying the hot Ghanaian from Ghana sunshine and the rolling surf. But Dad and I had different agendas. We were rock pool explorers. We climbed among the jagged granite pools carved by the pounding waves and peered into the myriad of individual communities. We scooped up starfish, shells, and miscellaneous later to be identified critters into our pockets for examination, into our buckets. Suddenly, I let out a scream of terror. Something had reached out from under a rock and stroked my ankle with its slimy arm. A quick scoop with Dad's bucket revealed a baby octopus that had been hiding in my rock pool. This was a real find, much more exciting than the usual sea urchin and seaweed. We've got to show this to your mom and sisters, Dad announced. You stay here and watch the octopus, and I'll run down the beach and get them. If it tries to get away, let it go. Do not touch it, okay? I nodded my agreement, and Dad sped down the beach. As the moments passed, I shielded my eyes from the sun and peered down the beach. Mom and my sisters were tiny figures against the cliffs at the other end of the little bay. This was going to take some time. I sat down next to my bucket and observed our catch. Its head was about the size of a tennis ball, and it seemed to have more than the usual 8 arms, when they all wiggled at the same time. I named it Ollie. Ollie looked very smooth and graceful and, well, harmless. I reached in and stroked the top of its head with one finger. It was soft and slimy and had a slinky feel to it. I tried it again, and nothing terrible happened. Dad is always so paranoid, worrier. I thought to myself, he makes so many rules that it keeps us from learning and having a good time. I continued to stroke my newfound friend. This little octopus was obviously too tiny to hurt anyone. As I continued petting it, the little mollusk began to reciprocate, stroking the back of my hand with its long, stretchy arm. I was delighted. It likes me already, I thought to myself. Suddenly, it latched on tightly with one of its tentacles. This was not in my plan. I reached in with my other hand and tried to pry its arm off. The little arm stretched amazingly, but would not pull free. The octopus did, however, grab my other hand with 2 more of its tentacles or arms. I tried pulling my arms apart, but it just stretched like saltwater taffy, and I remained shackled. I looked down at the little creature in consternation. I really wanted to keep it as a pet, but Dad was on his way back with my whole family in tow, and I couldn't be caught like this. It called for more serious measures. I'm sorry to do this to you, Ollie, I said, as I raised my rubber-thonged foot. But you've got to let go of me. I pushed down its head with my foot, pulling its arms as hard as I could. Surely it would let go now, and I could get back into the bucket in time, and it could get back into the bucket in time. Instead, it wrapped another 2 arms around my foot. No, you stupid octopus, I shouted, hopping around on my one free foot. Losing my balance, I fell unceremoniously into the pool. Suddenly, I was sputtering and spitting salt water as I wrestled with a growing and, in my estimation, frightening sea monster. A 22-inch arm span seems pretty big when yours is only 34. Mom and Dad were nearing the tide pools now. Meanwhile, I was struggling to keep my head above its shallow water. I was desperate. No more thoughts of keeping Ollie as a pet now. I'm going to have to hurt you, I threatened, hoping the little sea monster would understand English. I lowered my head and bit on the head. Being the tenacious sort, the octopus just reached up and grabbed my face with 2 more arms. It was now firmly attached to my face, both hands and my left foot. Panic-stricken, I raised my eyes and met Dad's eyes. Dad didn't laugh, reprimand me for my disobedience, or ridicule me for getting into such a position by my own actions, though my sisters never seemed bound by such restraints. Nor did he lecture me on how to free myself. He simply sat down in the slimy tide pool with me and pulled me close to him. He wasn't able to pull the little creature off either, but he put his arms and legs next to mine, and the octopus shifted from my slimy, shaking arm onto big, strong ones I was free. It said here that I was free, and my feelings of panic were replaced by feelings of euphoria and freedom. Then I took a look at Dad. You see, the father thought, there's a sentence here about that the idea was if the octopus was out of the water very long, it would let go. So he was holding it out of the water. Shaking, excuse me, I was free, and my feelings of panic were replaced by feelings of euphoria and freedom. My dad was great. Then I took a good look at Dad. It took a long time to get the creature off Dad's arms. He has a sharp beak that he uses to open clams and shells, but I don't look much like a clam. He pulled and waited and pulled again. Finally, Dad was free. I had a little red circle on my arms, but Dad's were dark purple. I snuggled close to Dad in the car on the way home. He never said a word about my disobedience. Every time I looked at the angry purple circles on his arms, my eyes filled with tears and my heart with gratitude and contrition. I was so sorry. It seemed to me that the circles took months to fade, though Dad remembers only a few days. They reminded me of Jesus and his scars, which he will carry for eternity. Even when we get to heaven, we'll see the scars of the nail prints in Jesus' hands. Like my dad, he will carry the scars. He never berated me for them either. He didn't scold me. He just jumped into my slimy cesspool of life and took the results of my disobedience off my shaking arms and onto his strong ones. When I talk to my hurt friends, I want to put my arms around them and say, my dad isn't like yours. Let me share him with you. Let me give you happy memories of what my father was like. Maybe that is what Christianity is all about. Your Heavenly Father is not like that either. Let me tell you what He is really like. Let me share my memories and help make them yours also. God bless you. Sally Dillon, a freelance writer from Timberville, Virginia. God bless you.